You can come another time. Monsieur Ardenne?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, you're here. Oh, good, good. I was thinking that if you're not here, we can come another time.
No, I'm here. You see me?
I see you, and everything is perfect. So please let me introduce Monsieur Ardenne.
Hello.
He is from France with us, and should I leave the conversation and ask you to continue, or should I introduce you, or you want to go for the performance that we?
No, do how you want, no problem for me. I just want to say hello from France to the audience. Hello. To our dear German friends in art, in love, in peace, democracy.
Exactly.
Hey, what do you want? You want to introduce myself or me? Or?
Actually, we also have some friends and interested people online on Instagram. I'm not a very active Instagrammer, but now because of Gallis Film Festival, we have to do some stuff. Yes. So yes, I just wanted to say that you are internationally online, like everybody is seeing you. It's not only Stuttgart, but we have also Stuttgart people.
Yeah, Tehran or not?
Sorry, we have Tehran as well. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Without Tehran, it's not working. Quiche. Let's talk about quiche later.
Please, just wait a minute. You look not very well convinced. Maybe I could.
Please do. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Slower.
Fantastic hair, savage hair. It's fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for making me prepared for the talk. So
at that point, French people are loving aesthetics,
Exactly.
And beautiful ladies too. So.
Thank you very much for the compliment.
You're welcome.
So Paul, you did the curating on 2020 for
last spring.
Exactly. And I leave the conversation with you, and I think you know better how to introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, I hope. So thank you first for the invitation. I want to thank deeply the Kunstverein in Stuttgart. Okay, so I'm speaking here just as the curator of the former festival, film and video festival in Kaabi, Tunisia, in the south of Tunisia, not far from the island of Jerba. As we said, Nadia, last spring, I was a curator for this art show, but we had some difficulties due to the coronavirus, and as I want to explain it in a few moments, we had to convert the festival in the physical festival in a numeric festival. So, well, just I am a writer and historian of art. I don't want to be long about that. As everybody, I'm a worker, I'm a producer. I'm making some art shows and so on, but it's not very important. Okay, maybe you would like to present the Kaabi Festival and my role as a curator or not now? Yes, maybe Berlin.
But you did it already, right?
No, I just introduced the question, but no. Because you said me, if I want to speak, I can use maybe 8 to 20 minutes or something like that.
Sure. Okay. About curating only that for Tunisian film festival. was very happy to hear that Gabby's Film Festival, they're showing, like they have a section for video arts, which is super interesting. And also, the question is, if we see like Tunisian video arts, do we feel a difference? Is it different from other video arts from other parts of the world? And, yeah, so this was my question, and that's why Mr. Ardenne joined us.
Yes, okay. It's my point. Okay, I prepared some words about that. So maybe I could begin now for some minutes.
Sure.
Okay, so first I want to recall that the Gabes Festival, the Gabes Cinema Fan Festival, was created by Fatma Kilani. I say hello to Fatma because I know she's in Tunis now, but she's looking at us, I think. Biologist and professor of higher education in Tunis, and Fatma Kilani is known for cultural things in Tunisia because she is at the initiative in Tunis of the creation of contemporary art space called La Boîte, the box, 12 years ago. And she also created the festival in Gabes. The name of this festival is El Kazma. El Kazma is a citadel, you know, like a big, strong building, because there is one of this kind of building close to the seashore of Gabes, just a blockhouse, if you want. So, merged in the sea, in the Mediterranean Sea. And she created this festival with the aim of mediation, of promotion of video. Why? Because video art in Tunisia is too little shown. Even the Tunisian video creation is one of the first importance, and it's welcome to make it known. So, Gabes Festival for video is the first one in Tunisia, one of the most important, and maybe in all the Maghreb too. You know, so I was very pleased, I was very honored to be invited as a curator for the video section this year. How is the video presented in Gabes? It's also interesting. Normally, you find components along the waterfront, but also video is presented in cafes, some cafe in the city, on screen, put in the cafe, and also at the convention center as well. The offer is free. It's very important because absolutely is free because the festival intends to play a social, cultural role. It's open for everyone, and well, it's also very anti-elitist. Sometimes it's not very easy because some video are hard, maybe sometimes to understand. You understand? And when you are in a coffee, you are drinking a tea, you are in front of screens showing very strange images. It's not something which is easy. Nadia, as I said you just a moment before, because of the new coronavirus pandemic, the 2020 festival could not be held physically in Gabes itself, and it had to evolve to become exceptionally a digital festival. So we found some difficulties with this new situation. First, we went from 18 to 12 artists. You know, we lost 6 artists. Why? Because some videos, in fact, are, for instance, too wide spatially to be shown on a computer screen, you know, or on a TV screen. It's not possible. And some artists disagree. They say, no, I don't want. I want that my work will be shown in a very good projection situation. You understand? So we could not go against this position, of course. We have to respect the artworks, of course. If this switch to digital was accompanied by some changes in the selection, Let me say that the festival in this new digital version was a success. It was a success. Many television in particular have access to it in Gabes, but also outside Gabes, because normally it's only possible to see this festival in Gabes, but with the numeric communication, of course, you can see it elsewhere. El Casma is the name of the festival. So, opted in 2020 for a very open selection, both international and Tunisian. Middle, the same for international and Tunisian. The selection I want to insist on this point was a collective work. I was not working alone because we worked with Fatma Kilani, essentially, and also Khadija Tarawi, which is her assistant. Okay, the first characteristic, it's very important for me of this Gabes video festival is not to be thematic, you know. A choice, my choice, our choice is dictated not by the favor given to eclecticism or because we will not know what exactly to talk about or to show. This choice is the one of diversity. You know, I'm a great defender of diversity in the art. You know, for me, there is no truth in art. You know, there are only a representation of life, representation of world, you know, but no truth. As soon as someone is saying art is that and not that, he wants to promote something, he wants to sell you something. Okay? And of course, it's ideology. So I am absolutely against this kind of opposition. So the choice of diversity rather than thematic uniqueness is in fact based on this postulate. It is my postulate, you know, the world is plural. The world is plural. I want to insist about that. It is plural through civilization, its language, its culture. It's also through. It is also diverse. Diversity through is the rhythm of life, is culture, is conception of time. It's important for me because, as you know, globalization has always a fake effect. This fake effect is to make you believe that, of course, Jeff Koons, for instance, is the most important contemporary artist in the world. You know, it's not the case at all. He is really a little player. He is an has-been artist, totally, you know. So we have to fight for diversity, because diversity is meant to open wide eyes to understand. So we are not interface, or me, I'm not against socialism and for division. We just recognize one fact. Economic globalization, which is now a well-established reality, doesn't duplicate cultural globalization. There is not an equivalence. Okay, the world is one, but it is fragmented, very fragmented. If someone wants to make believe that it's not true, it seems to me he is wrong. So for this reason, as I say, our selection is plural. It embraces a large number of current situation or issues, personal, social, political question, the desires to find one's place on the earth, and also the conclusion before the violence of today's world, the question of the desire of pacification, for instance. A lot of things. And why? Because if we share the same planet, our concerns are often antithetical with this consequence in the artistic video offer, the great plurality I was speaking about just a moment before. Okay, so now I just want to present the artists, the international section first, 6 artists, and also the Tunisian section, 6 artists. If you want, decided, I hope it's not a mistake to do like that, but I don't want to speak about the international section, just to say the name of the artist, and I want to concentrate myself on Wikipedia specifically, maybe, if it exists. Okay, so for the international section, quickly, in alphabetical order, we find the following artists: Janet Biggs, Kota Ikawa, so very important artist in North America. Munir Fatmi, maybe you know Munir Fatmi. Ali Kazma, very important Turkish artist also. Randa Mada, who is living in Golan, in occupied Syria, and Eva Majdarossi, who is a very well-known animation videoist from Hungary, Budapest. So, for the Tunisian section now, on which we will focus, we find Aladdin Abu Taleb, Youssef Chebi, Alaeddin Sleep, well known also, Nadia Kabilik, Farah Khalil, and Swan Mani. Okay. So, it's the artist. It's impossible for me, of course, in a short time, with the framework of this conference to present each of the video shown in Paris. Okay, so I will therefore do a synthesis, okay, by trying to identify the general state of mind, cultural atmosphere, or point of view. Okay. For my presentation, I choose the bird we will see later why. The bird, I go en vrac as we say, at random. I don't choose to open on this kind of thematic or another one. We will see the reason why later at the end of the presentation. And let's start with Alaeddin Abu Taleb. This artist was presenting an animated video which title is Coma.
Yes, and we've shown it here, so we saw it.
Here or not yet?
Yes.
Yeah, it is a 2013 video.
Yes.
Not a recent one, but it's very interesting. Okay. So shortly, the thematic is about the deaths, about the dead also, the dead people, the zombies maybe. So, I give the statement. I read quickly. A large trial of whiskey come to personally in an extraordinary Sabbath. Unrid of agglomerated corpse, seem eager to wake up, to return to our world, to play a part in it. Okay. So, an attempt of resurrection, if you want. So, by the death of Alaeddin Abu Taleb and Coma, we know only a brief burst of resurrection, because order, the death will reign supreme. Okay, so they just come back, you know, and they disappear again. So, okay, it's a very bizarre, very rare video, but it explains maybe the desire we have always, even when we are allowed to record, you know, due to the sensations that our life has never, as we wanted, they have to be. Okay. Now, another video was the one of a now very famous Tunisian filmmaker with Alaeddin Slim, with a stadium trophy. Maybe you present it in Stuttgart at Montfort.
Tomorrow, yes. Yes.
So I want to apologize, I'm sorry, because due to the video lecture, the video conference, it's not possible for me to show images while I'm speaking, you understand? Because normally I show images, so I deeply regret to have to show you only this image of a poor French guy locked in a... Oh, okay, good. You could turn off the screen, you know, maybe a screen is more interesting than me. So, the stadium, it's a very hard, very sad, very black, very dark movie short movie. The stadium, the movie makes us follow the time of a football match, the crossing of a city, an unknown city, by a lonely man, an office worker with a briefcase always. You know. The peregrinations of this lonely man who perhaps take the drift, we don't know, as for its sound accompaniment, comments on the match, supporters and international football bodies. We could say the rustle of the world, but a rustle that doesn't seem to reach here the earth of the film. You know, it's like a sound without any important meaning. So the film is very dark. We come across spectre above all, and the stadium turns the subject on itself. Spectator as well. The question is, when we are looking at this kind of movie, who am I in this world, and why me? Why in this world, and to do? Now, another video we presented in Gabes was the one from by Youssef Chedi, Les Profondeurs, 2013 video. Maybe you showed it to that, I don't know. It's very interesting. For me, it was one of the most interesting videos we have shown in Gabes. Profondeur, the deeps, you know, what is deep? Okay, profondeur. You go in the depths of the earth. And it's a very, very bizarre story. So I tell you very quickly. Okay, I read the synopsis here. It's about the return of a vampire to Tunisia. Vampire, you know. And could you imagine, like that? I don't know, with my maybe, like that. A country which we understand was his native land, you know. We believe that there were vampires only in London during the Victorian period, but no, we found also vampires in Tunisia. You know, it's like, maybe in Stuttgart too, we don't know, pay attention. Okay, so his arrival at night in the deserted and murky port of Tunis sets the tone for this very disenchanted fable. What is this vampire looking for? We don't know. We don't know absolutely nothing concerning the reason why he is coming back suddenly to Tunis. We don't know. So. Okay, so after we follow this vampire, very curious story. After having killed, I read the first victim, a young woman, whom he will change into a vampire while promising her eternity but lovely loneliness. You see, you will be eternal, but you will be alone. Okay, there is no choice. Okay, maybe you prefer to die. I don't know. You should. Okay. But she chooses to be a vampire, so to be eternal but not alone. So this vampire after wanders from place to place, a cafe, a nightclub, an apartment where an orgy took place, until it ends up on a farm, you know, in the country, the Tunisian country. You know, it's very bizarre because normally, you know, vampires are connected to the city, to the great city, to the dark city of the dark night, you understand? But when suddenly you find them in a farm, you know, with pigs, with cows, with it's very bizarre. You are a little bit disconnected, you know, in this movie. So, but let me tell you the end of this story. This vampire will make one last victim. There before being killed during an hunter's beat. It's very interesting because normally vampires cannot die. In this movie, they die. The Chedi's vampire, lost in the world, is no longer even eternal. So we could say as the SMS song behind are the time they are changing. The times they are changing. Now vampires are dying. It's a new situation. Maybe it's because our world is absolutely deruled, absolutely chaotic. Everything is going on now. We don't. So to continue, a video by Farah Khalil, which is a little bit difficult to understand if you don't have a look at it. So maybe you show it in Stuttgart. It is surface effect. It's not only a video, it's an installation, with a carousel device by Kodak, with a slideshow system,
Unfortunately, it was not possible to show it.
Yeah, because it is an installation. It is an installation. I know that. Well, what is the matter for Akilil? She's an artist who is working on the question of cultural inheritance, cultural conditioning, cultural position, especially when through propaganda, cultural propaganda. And in this artwork, video installation, social effect, she's working about the question of this question: what are the art images who remain in our civilization? So who decides what images, art images are the good ones, and what images, art images are the bad ones? She did, for instance, a very, very interesting work about a very famous book in the West. It is a great book by Hans Gombrich, the famous art historian from the Cotton Institute in London. Maybe 40 years ago, the old man who wrote Ernst Gombrich published a book with a very simple title, History of Art. History of Art. It was a big book telling the history of art since the antique period. But in this book, could you imagine, ladies especially, you could find no name of any woman. You understand? Only artist made, Absolutely no artist women. It is incredible. So a large part of the work by Farah Kelly is to think about that, to push us to have a reflection about what does it mean to write, for instance, a book without any name of the woman artist. It's very, for me, I am also a historian of art. It's my job. I am teaching in university. And of course, I don't consider that feminist art is important. It's not. I don't consider that women can do art. Women are enabled. I'm speaking as Georg Baselitz. Maybe you know this very famous German artist. Maybe you remember some years ago, he did this fantastic statement. But me, I consider that women cannot do art. Okay, art it is only for men only. It's like motorbike, it's like bordellos, maybe for men only, not for women. Okay, so, but even me, which is thinking as Georg Baselitz, my master, even me, I have to speak sometimes about women who are artists, in my lessons. Okay, I try to keep. I try to joke. I'm not sure I was successful, so I want to apologize.
No, but your joke, it made me see. Sorry, because I don't have you on the screen on my screen.
No, well, I am not on the screen.
No, you have.
Okay.
I have you on the big screen. So I didn't see Nadia that she joined us. I'm so sorry that we didn't say hi.
No, let me just say that, of course.
Yeah. Sorry, but please continue. Sorry.
Made by woman is very, very, of course, important. Since a very long time, it remains, and actually, for instance, in France, if you have a look on what is contemporary art, It is done by a lot of women, and they are absolutely interesting. Okay, so just some words now, because I want to speak about, excuse me, just a minute, maybe, yeah, the last artwork I want to speak about is a very interesting one by an artist, a woman artist, who is also very interesting, fantastic, who is Nadia Kaabi. Maybe Nadia is with you in Stuttgart, no?
No, actually we have her now in the meeting. That's why we didn't see her, but hello to Nadia.
I want to say hello with a great pleasure. With a great admiration.
Yeah, we cannot hear you, but we
because Nadia Kaabi did a lot of artworks which are now very well known about migrants, people, about all the tensions which are crossing our very violent society, and especially in the south of Mediterranean Sea. So she did a lot of very important video works, and I hope that in Stuttgart some of them will be projected, during your festival, Gabes Festival, Peace, second one. And in Gabes, we decided with Fatma, Kilani, and Khadija Kerawi, we decided to show a very complex artwork because it's a movie, it's also an installation, it depends on the presentation of the work. So it was difficult for us. Due to the coronavirus, we could just present the images. It is, the title is Le Capital, Epilogue. Le Capital, you are in Germany, of course, and the masterpiece of Karl Marx. And epilogue, the end of something. And the subtitle is a fable about the end of an area. So I just want to read the statement of this video shortly. The starting point of Capital Epilogue, a fable about the end of an era, is the discovery in Amman, Jordan, of a singular ruin, that of a house that belonged to a local bourgeois family, and of which only the rickety entrance gate remains, standing upright thanks to a tree branch. Listen to that, the last owner of this house, following a dream where her father tells her about a treasure hidden under the family home, has it demolished. You understand that? Okay, boom. But in vain. Because there was no treasure, and not the home. There was nothing. No treasure, and for all accounts, an house destroyed on a building plot too small to interest developers. So you understand, she wanted to become rich, and now she became poor. Exactly the inversion of the process. Okay, the title of the video, Capital Epilogue, Fable about the end of the era, is a metaphor of predatory capitalism, ready to destroy everything in order to enrich itself, without any regard for our environment, or about its nature, its environment. It's not an house with a treasure hidden. Okay, so now I just want to conclude, if you permit Nega. It's 5 minutes, because now I want to explain a little bit more what you could say about this specific creation from India in the video. As you will have realized, I did not try in my presentation to prioritize, find logic in this different video. On the contrary, I want to emphasize, as I said when I began, to speak their diversity. Tunisian video art is world art, it is integrated into general artistic creation, and I would like to say it is less vernacular than universal, even if it remains a local component. This, for me, but maybe I'm wrong, prohibits considering that Tunisia is culturally eccentric. On the contrary, for me, it seems to me that it's a creative center, and creative center, with very hard conviction, but it is. Radiating and operating in unison with world creation. You know, there is a prejudice already. When you are considering art from the south, and when you are coming from the north, the prejudice is always to think this art of it is not very important. You know, it is existing, but it's not very important. But while, as me, you are always traveling all around the world, you are always seeing a lot and a lot and a lot of art everywhere, except the north and the north too. You begin to understand that what the South has to say is more important than the artists from the North have said, you know, or said. Because in the North, there is the most important problem for the artist is not globalization, it's conformism, you know. Everybody is living the same life as his or her neighbor. Everybody, all the people go to the same location. You know, they are speaking about all the same things always, you know. And it very depends in the schools where, in the homes where some local concerns are kept in a very, very intense activity. You understand that? I'm not sure I'm clear, but it's very different. Let me say, you are living in England, in Germany. Maybe in Germany life is not boring, maybe in Stuttgart life is something absolutely unforgettable. But very often in the West, life is boring, you know. Why? Because it's the same for all. Okay. I don't want to kill the West because I love the West, but we have to be, you have to accept and see what is the situation. So, to finish about this young video in terms of identity, what to say? Is there a specifically Tunisian cultural identity that emerged from this different videos? This is the question. Even if they are at the level of all the universal conditions. Not especially, I think, except on the psychological level. So, excuse me, I lost my page. Excuse me. No worries, I'll be back.
I'm not worried at all.
Okay, no. Except, I was saying, not especially one specific identity, except on psychological level. The different videos that I've just copied, what are they talking about? For instance, pollution, oppression, predation, loneliness, of course, the disruption of our world. And these are matters which are not at all local. Subjects are essential in Tunisia, as they are in Stuttgart, as they are in Honolulu, as they are in Tombouctou, as they are in Isfahan, also. So, if there is a detectable Tunisian identity in its value proposal, it is, however, this, I think, a deep pessimism. All these videos are very pessimistic. They are like, they produce very often a psychological shock, a state of depression. The world seen from Tunisia is not happy. I regret to have to say. It's not euphoric. It doesn't seem open to a bright future. Okay. Well, maybe I'm wrong. telephone. Maybe I'm blind man. Like that. It's not bad, this question. You have to pose this question. It's not bad. No, it's not. If at the same time the principle of O is suggested, as wrote the very famous German writer Ernst Bloch. You know this book, Principle of O, and you know it's very interesting. Okay. But here that's not the case. The feeling of photo failure, of ineluctable morbidity, perhaps chaos also, is dominant. It's always dominant. It is in the image, one will say, of the very degraded state of the Tunisian situation at the economical and mental level since 2011. You know, I think there is a correlation, you know, with the situation of Tunisia and the mood, the very sad mood of all these art. The revolution of the Arab Spring did not keep its promises, unfortunately. And artistic creation is a strong and obvious echo of this. It's an echo of this. So, Tunisian, I want to finish like that. I was writing, Tunisian videographer do not belong to another world. They are our world, but they are this world, especially for its dark side, you understand? Not for its bright side. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Howard.
Thank you.
No, I don't know.
I mean, what?
You know, Nadia, seen from Germany, the French a French guy is always a little bit clown, you know. Yeah, it's like a joker, you know, it's like a poor guy, you know. Maybe I could wear my red nose, you know, here. Right?
Oh, you have it already, okay.
Yes, I lent you my comb, and good, thank you very much for hearing.
Very, very much for accepting my invitation.
No.
Also, I was thinking because the program is a bit like with the live streaming and everything, we changed it a bit, like some minutes going and coming. And now that I'm seeing Nadia online, and I saw her smile, beautiful smile. Sometimes it meant something that I really appreciate.
It's a smile of despair. It's a smile of despair.
Well, let's see, because I'm super excited to know about it. So I would ask Bjorn, please, can we have Nadia also like in the same? So I'm so sorry. You were little, Nadia. Now you're going to. Okay, great. Wow, great to see you. I'm big now. You are too big now. Too much.
You cannot imagine
On our screen. Welcome to Stuttgart. Welcome to Stuttgart. I'm so happy to have you because we were planning to have Nadia Kaabi from Berlin. She's the video artist that she works and lives in Berlin. I don't know from when exactly, but it's years, I guess. So this is a good question for the beginning, but to introduce her, we had like a video and also in Gallus it was shown, as Ardenne said before, and then we are showing it in Stuttgart. So we have her. I was trying to invite her to come from Berlin to here. Unfortunately, she's now in Paris, I guess?
No, Berlin.
Really? Oh, you came back.
Do you hear me?
Yes, I hear you very well.
No, I am doing my quarantine because I was in Paris.
Oh, yes. So anyways, she is at home, house arrested, and we can have the chance to have her online, so it's also good. Very welcome.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure. Thank you for the invitation.
I hope I did not say mistakes or.
As you said, there are no mistakes.
Exactly, exactly.
I like
That's a
very
good
much.
conversation. Yeah, that's a good, yeah. That's a good start. So,
Okay. Now I would like a great pleasure to hear you. Nadia, it's to you now.
To us,
Ah, to you. Hello.
the first time I'm eager to talk with you. I'm really very happy about
Oh,
this
yes.
invitation. Thank you.
you're well welcome. So, Nadia, would you please, because for me, it was very important that you as a Tunisian artist, and also we have it with Iranian artists, that they go outside and how they work and how they, how their work is kind of like woven to the culture, to the foreign culture, how it works, the product, whatever you, you do, and whatever the result of the art, like the process of creation is. But then how like in foreign countries they react on your art, and so it's always a nice question to ask, I think, and to begin the conversation with some people that are living in another continent, country, and yes, so we start with this maybe, and Paul, please help me with nice questions.
Yes, maybe one question. For me, it could be this one. Why did you decide to leave Tunisia?
Okay.
It's very.
Oh my God, you look very serious now.
No, I am serious.
First question, and then I will put your question regardless.
Definitely.
Your question, I could we could fill it with the whole.
Great, sure.
But first question is more direct. So what
Yes,
is that?
as an artist,
Sorry?
as an artist, it's a very, very important decision. As a person, it's a very, very important decision.
But I didn't leave Tunisia as an artist. I left Tunisia as a student. And it was never a decision to leave for good. I was always hoping to come back. It was not even hoping, it was a clear decision to go gain experience and come back. Just to open a small parenthesis, I used to be almost obsessed by my country, by Tunisia, because I had the very sad experience of knowing exile when I was 12 years old. I had to leave Tunisia because my parents went to Dubai, and of course you don't ask a child what they think at that age. It was a very painful and traumatic experience, I could say.
And then you went to Ukraine also.
No, Ukraine, that's not exile, because I am half Ukrainian, so that's my home. I am as much home in Ukraine as I'm in Tunisia, integrated in both, culturally, language-wise, everything. My parents did a good job in integrating in both cultures. That's not the issue, but Dubai is, Middle East is really a different world. Often I'm put in the box of the Middle East, but no, I'm African, North African, and Middle East is really a different world. So, as a child, I understood how different it was, and it was very difficult when you're 12, it's the adolescence period. So my attachment to Tunisia, I'm saying the word obsessive, it wasn't even natural, it was more than your countries, it became existential. So when I came back after I finished my graduation in Dubai, I was 17. And then I applied for the Fine Arts School in Tunisia, which I finished, and I was extremely happy. I was really in my field, and I had no intention to leave my country. You see, it was really the opposite. It's just that I wanted to gain more experience, and I had a bursary, so I was a good student, and the government of my country gave me a bursary to finish DEA, thèse de doctorat in Sorbonne, Paris. So yes, it was a good opportunity, and I was like thinking, well, I finish, I go back, of course. But you know, you decide something, and life makes something else out of it.
Yes, of course.
So yeah, I met my husband in Paris, who is German, and and slowly our life developed in France, and then I came to Berlin, and I had the double, you can say, coup de foudre. I fell in love twice with my husband, the man, and the city, and I really felt very comfortable, so we decided to stay, you see. But the idea of going back, it's not like going back, it's like my life evolved, and through the years, my relationship to my country also evolved, so it's something else. If I answered your question, so it wasn't a decision, and I left as a student, not as an artist. Now to go back to you, Nidar, the question is much more complex, and not complex in the sense it's not easy to just historically to answer to it. And I think it's a very important question because this is something that I'm confronted to all the time when I work. And there was a particular exhibition that I did in 2017 that gave me some answers to what you're asking. Because all of what I did before was, doing and not really taking the distance enough to understand what it means when you come from a different world, what's called the South, so what you say, the big South. And I consider myself double South because East Europe is somehow also South. Ukraine is in the South, it is Slav mentality, it's quite different. And Africa, of course, I don't have to explain. So I certainly have a different view on the things that are surrounding me in the West. If we can speak like in these kind of categories, because it bothers me to say West, South, it's like there is a border, there is no clear border. And now I have been living more than half of my life, if I put together the 7 years in France, in Paris, and the 15 years in Germany, so it's more than half of my years in Occident. So somehow it became also mine. My husband is German, my children are German. This is the country where when I take the plane and go back to Berlin, I know I'm going back home. So, it's, yes, I come from somewhere else, but this also became my home. So I have different homes somehow. Yeah. And this exhibition in 2017, it was in the Museum of Bonn. And I did the whole exhibition exclusively about German history and German actuality. So it is, as I said, the country where I live, etc. But my position was always a position that surprised somehow and even touched the German people in a way that they were like I had spectators who cried, who were hugging me, who told me, finally we hear someone speaking about the things that we never dared and we didn't have the right to speak about. For example, their injuries after the Second World War, the total destruction is so taboo. There are barely 2 books that have been written about the moral bombing, what happened in Dresden, Hamburg, etc. It's not, of course, to justify anything. I always work about human, my position is more of empathy and human and invisible contradictions within the society. And so I understood through this experience talking to the spectators that coming from somewhere else and looking at the actual present culture, there is something, we gain both, but probably even the people here locally, they gain even more, because we coming from the South have a view that they possibly cannot have in their own present, So I wonder why artists, very often when they come to the West, they continue stick to their homeland. I mean, that's a very interesting position, yes, but there's so much to gain for the local people to open up their minds when they see their own problems looked at from the South. And not always we go back to Africans, the lamento thing, this happened to us, and we poor, and of course colonialization and post-colonialization. But if you want to have a very emancipated position as an African, come in West and speak about their history, and speak about their actuality, and criticize their politics. And this is what I did without really wanting to take a political position, but that I had this confirmation from the spectators, and then it recalled me directly to the Orientalism. This is what Germans mostly did when they came to our countries. We look now to our history always through the lens of the Orientalism. It means even if we want to criticize it, we know that it was not really, like you say, an authentic vision of our past and present, etc. But still, it is so anchored that even if we want to break it, we have to go back to it. So why don't we come and we do also, because there's like millions of immigrants in Europe, and the other way, no reverse. So I would say this is my position as an African in the West.
I loved what you said. I think it's the experience of many people, but also I'm talking in a position of an Iranian artist and a filmmaker, and I always think, okay, do I feel like 100% okay with that? Also the audience of my artwork, and the people that will see my films and my art, they're all from another country. Am I happy with this fact that my family, my parents, they're not in cinema when they're showing my films? You know, so this is always like maybe with you it's different because you built another life somewhere else, and then you believed in that okay, we don't have like wherever we are, this is our home, let's say. But then for people that they are in the middle, they're not really there in their country because they have the more possibility to show their artworks outside. I'm not only talking about something controversial, I'm also talking about like calligraphy, for example. Like if I'm doing calligraphy, honestly, in this, like in Germany and who knows also in France and everywhere, I think it's the same that you have a lot of opportunities to to sell and to and then so I mean for me it's a bit yeah, it's always like okay, I'm not here, I'm not there, so in the middle, and I know many people around me that they are somewhere in the middle. They produce something inside their countries even, but they produce it for outside world. So you don't have the same feeling, right? You don't feel.
No, if I'm to come back to what you're saying with the calligraphy,
Sure.
I would call it just simple resistance. Because there are different ways to resist. You resist politically, you can be activist, etc. But you can have also an artistic position. And the market is really no mercy. It's a very difficult place to be.
Exactly.
And to be successful and stay authentic and work on your research, which doesn't have anything to do with the expectance of the market, is really, you have to believe in what you do, and that's pure resistance. So if you, because as an Iranian, an Arab, or coming from the Muslim world, like, of course it's expected either to show how women are suffering, how victims we are, revolutions, and I don't know what. If you're doing something different, you have to really wear warm clothes, like this. It's a German expression. But I think this is kind of discrimination that I'm speaking about, the colonialism, which is an extension today. On the one hand, it is good. Of course, it's good that we became global artistically, but as Paul said, it's not really happening. It's good on the one hand because in the 80s and 60s, we never heard about known artists, Shilpa Gupta or Anish Kapoor, or all of these stars today. India, elsewhere, we didn't really, there isn't only Damien Hirst, we have also extremely big stars coming from in China, etc. So this is a form of globalism, and I think there is a positive thing to it, but there is a huge pain, I would almost say, to resist as an artist to speak, work on the themes that interest you. For example, I work on the themes that are surrounding me. If I go to Ukraine, of course, my themes are going to relate to Ukraine. If I live in Germany, if I go to France, and it's true, I have the ease to adapt to different places. It's not because I'm super cool, it's just the biography of my life. I had to, as a child, ready to survive. So I'm trained in that, So I became, in this sense, it's not a problem for me to travel and adapt.